We throw around the term icon so easily these days, don't we? Just throw it out. Oh, an icon. Iconic. There are very few actual true icons, and Dolly Parton, man, was certainly one of them. I should say is one of them, though, because I got to tell you, for as many career accomplishments as Dolly Parton had, we'll get into that in a second here, she lives on forever somehow. How many people can you think of that became such an ingrained part of American culture that you hear the word Dolly and you would instantly know who you're talking about, and had such an impact on American culture and things we think about every single day? I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody. I've never heard of anybody. I've never seen anything written. I've never heard anybody say anything negative about Dolly Parton my entire life, and I'm in my 50s now. And you're probably the same way. You know, and you could see that yesterday, and this also tells you how connected we are with information these days. As soon as the sad news that we lost Dolly Parton came out yesterday, instant. And it doesn't matter where you are. Even if you were at home working, you were flooded with the information about Dolly Parton. If you were having lunch at a restaurant when this happened, you heard people talking about it instantly. Oh, Dolly, I love Dolly. I love Dolly. And then all the stories came out. Everybody has some sort of a favorite Dolly Parton story because her career was so long and she did so much stuff and so much cool stuff. She was everywhere and always with class and always with style. And not one of these, current stars that actually loves to talk about the struggles and all this other stuff. Struggle is part of her story, obviously, coming from dirt poor nothing and then becoming an icon, as we say. But man, did everything with class. We'll get into it. But I tell you what, legends and icons live on in these stories that we tell about them. Everybody's got a favorite story. I picked out 3, one of which I'd never even heard before. But let's cherry pick 3. Because legends and icons live on through the stories. We'll get into it. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. Sad day, but also you got to look at some day like this when you lose somebody like Dolly Parton as a blessing that you had somebody like that we could look up to for so many decades. Really, truly. All right, thanks for finding me with the Wicked Radio live stream and replay on X, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff, and all those social media channels. Audio podcast, thank you for the downloads and shares and follows. Your favorite audio podcast, wherever you like to get those. Let's get right into it. Dolly Parton, at 80, had been sick. But again, one of these famous legends that kind of kept that under wraps. Her friends and family knew for quite some time. More than 100 million albums sold worldwide. 3,000 plus songs written. By the way, I found this out recently. I think it was a couple of years ago. She always identified herself, like put on her business card, as songwriter. Before anything. Movie star, sure. TV legend, right? Country star, country music hall of famer, rock and roll hall of famer, always identified herself as a songwriter. And man, what songs. 25 number 1 singles on the Hot Country Singles chart. That's tied for most by female artists. 10 competitive Grammy artists, plus a Lifetime Achievement Award. We know that. Country Music Hall of Fame, we said that. Songwriters Hall of Fame. Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's a rock and roller. We'll get into rock star in a second, too. Other honors. Library of Congress Living Legend Award. Kennedy Center honors, honorary Oscar for her philanthropy. We all know about that. We all know what a legend she was, no doubt about it. But how about some of the best moments, though? I always think about this, and this stuck out in my mind when we got that news just yesterday. I always loved her TV appearances. Great artist. You love Dolly Parton's songs. She wrote I Will Always Love You, became the Whitney Houston hit, all that. And she had the career struggles and all that other stuff. Was always classy, was always full of style every time she was doing an interview. And how many thousands of interviews did she do over the years? The ones that stick out in my mind from being a kid, and also in later years too, were the interviews she did on The Tonight Show. More recently, but the best ones ever were with Carson. This is a burn example of that. If you ever look back, and you'll find a lot of this stuff, and this is one of the great things about social media. When we lose a legend like that, an icon like that, some of the best memories come up in your algorithm, and they, to remember some of these things. This is one I actually remember watching, and brought up in the memory banks of how awesome she was and how she handled everything. This was great. And how great was Carson?
I've always been pretty well blessed. People are always asking if they're real. And
I would never. I would never, you see.
No, you don't have to ask.
I would not.
I'll tell you what. These are mine.
I have certain guidelines on this.
I usually...
But I would give about a year's pay to peek under there.
Talking about, obviously, the Dolly Parton boobs. Can you imagine? Think about it for a second. Think about when she broke into the business in the early 1960s, right? Can you imagine that in country music, not just popular music? Can you imagine the good old boy network she had to break through? And it became almost, and they tried to give her a hard time about it because she was actually, when she was first starting out, kind of chunky. Not only had the the well-endowed chest, but was kind of chunky about it. They tried to give her a hard time about it. And she took that and she owned it and became a signature identifying feature of hers. Isn't that a great lesson for all of us, though? And she always handled it with class and style, and she actually loved it. One of the best lines I ever heard, and I totally forgot about this, some of the recent interview clips that showed up. She had a famous joke about that, too. Where she said, everybody wants to talk about my boobs, but they forget I have a great ass, too. That's just, how can you not love that? I mean, that's just fantastic. But the class and the style with which she handled all of that stuff and everything breaking through that business, that's what an icon does. That's my first favorite Dolly Parton story, is how she would handle all of the stuff about her physical features. And she even called herself a cartoon at times. You know, she made no bones about the fact that it was a wig. Made no bones about the fact that she had giant boobs, and that was identifying. She took all the butt of the jokes, so to speak, and she handled it with style and owned them. Just an absolute legend. Here's another great story about Dolly Parton. You may have heard about Dollywood. We all know it. Maybe you've been there. I've never been there. Always the jokes. It's like, you know, it's a redneck carnival. It's an amusement park. It's kind of, you know, I don't know if I'm going to the Smoky Mountains and going to Dollywood. There was so much more to Dollywood, and is still today, so much more to Dollywood than a lot of us even recognize. Now, back in 1986, she opened up this thing. You might remember this. Might have seen this clip recently, too, when she welcomed everybody to the park, which is still there and still thriving. We'll get into that in a second.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dollywood. I want to thank you, Governor, and thank you, Pigeon Forge, Sevier County, and thank you, God. I am very excited today. I've been home many times. I never really left home, as the governor said, but I feel like today is the first time I really got to come home, because I have dreamed for many years of getting to come back, bringing something back, so you folks will know that I'm as proud of you as you've always been of me. And
What a legend. Now, that was one thing. Okay, it's an opening. Great. Oh, what'd they do? They gave her the land. It's an opportunity. It's an economic thing. It's a business venture. Sure. All of that. It's a lot more than that, though. What they did, what this meant for that area, and she meant that, about giving back to her area where she grew up. Here's an interview back in 1986. Wow, so long ago now, when she was talking about opening up Dollywood and what it really actually meant to her.
How beautiful that area is in the Smoky Mountains and the National Park. And I just, for years, wanted to do something, take something back home for my people to be proud of. And this is going to also provide a lot of jobs for the people in that area, for my family as well as friends and other people there. So even the farmers are going to prosper from this, in addition to the motels and the restaurants and shops around there.
I don't know if at the time anybody actually believed it, because Dolly Parton was riding a high in 1986, and you figure it's just a business opportunity, right? Oh, it was more than that. She actually meant, another reason why she's an icon, she meant what she said, and the long-term impact that's still being felt in that area from her giving back in the form of Dollywood is still there. What kind? How about this? Just look it up. Employment. Dollywood is Sevier County's largest employer, the area where she's from, right? 3,000 to 4,500 workers, peak season figures, 4,000, 4,200, right around there it's estimated at. All of them, by the way, get tuition paid for, including seasonal part-time workers. That's pretty incredible. Kids looking for an opportunity to go to college. Wide range of roles, operations, hospitality. How about, what kind of money are we talking about here? What kind of revenue is brought into that county? Pigeon Forge consistently generates $2 billion in annual gross revenue from tourism, Dollywood, with amusements contributing to millions upon millions of this. Sevier County ranks third in Tennessee for visitor spending. Did that happen before she opened Dollywood? Nope. She gave back taxes and public records. Tourism from the Great Smoky Mountains, including Dollywood, generates substantial state and local tax revenues, without which the landowners there, including farmers, would have paid a lot more. Legend. Icon. That's what she did. She gave back. Probably that's tops for me as my number one favorite story for Dolly Parton, what she gave back in that area. And we just think of Dollywood as like this kitschy kind of thing, right? It's an amusement park. Have any interest in going there? I don't know what. Think about what that is. That is one huge example of an absolute star giving back to her community. She said she was going to do it, and she did it, and she got it done. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. This is a story I didn't even know existed. I had no idea, but this is, again, if you want to look at the bright side of losing a star like this, all of these stories start to come up, and this is how we can remember them. This is 1990. She went on vacation, a family vacation to Ireland, but it's Dolly Parton, of course, and her family, so cameras are going to be everywhere. So she's dressed to the nines, as apparently she always was. Stops by, she's in Ireland, stops by a pub in County Kerry. What do? They ask her to sing a song. Again, this is just vacation. Now, how would that go? Amazingly well, which also speaks to her talent, by the way. How many stars today, how many current pop or rock or country stars could jump into a pub unannounced, they stick a microphone in her face, and they put her together with the band, whatever band is playing there, and this just happens to be a guy with an acoustic guitar, and sounds amazing. You could have recorded this, produced it, fixed it up a little bit, and you could have released this as a single. How many people have that kind of talent? She did, for sure. This was at 1990 on vacation in a pub in County Kerry, Ireland. Listen how great this sounds.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me, made only from rags, but I wore it so proudly. Although we had no money, I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors that mama made for me.
Can you imagine being there that night? Just showing up, and there's Dolly Parton. You just stopped in for a pint of Guinness, and there she is. Sounding, looking amazing. That's an icon. That's another one. And I'd never seen that clip or heard that clip before. That's incredible. But there's so many more out there because she had such a long career of doing iconic stuff, including, this wasn't just like years ago, this wasn't decades ago, including very, very recently. It was only in 2023. She recorded something she said she always wanted to do. She was always a fan of all kinds of great songs and all different genres, including rock. Wanted to become a rock star and became one. Like I said, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Was going to be anyway, but mostly because of this. Recorded an album called Rockstar. Couple of songs, novelty kind of thing. Nope. Went full bore into this with some of her favorite artists, personally invited them to be on Rockstar. 30 songs, covered mostly with duets. Who else was on this thing? McCartney and Ringo, Stevie Nicks, Elton John, Steve Perry, Sting, John Fogerty, Peter Frampton, Joan Jett, Steven Tyler, and did a bunch of cover songs of her favorite, handpicked and chosen songs. That's a rock star. And you know what? Did a great job, was it? This wasn't a throwaway novelty kind of thing. This wasn't just like a specialty holiday album with Christmas tunes and that a lot of so-called legends put together. No, she put her heart and soul into this thing, and that album was freaking awesome. And then performed a lot of this stuff on stage. It's one thing to go into a studio with these legends and produce it. No, she performed them live on stage. Not too long ago, after 2023, when she released Rockstar, this is her doing, of all things, her version of Stairway to Heaven. And it's freaking amazing.
And she's buying a stairway to heaven.
Icon, legend. Like I said, I don't know anybody. I've never heard of anybody. And this is the only person who's famous I can think of that I've never heard a negative word about. Ever. Nothing. I worked in country radio for a long time. People that actually knew Dolly and worked with her a lot, they never said anything negative. You would think the stories would come out, right? You would think somebody would have written something negative. Nope. No, because they had nothing, because she was a bright soul. And I got to tell you, it's like, we're not supposed to worship celebrities, and you really shouldn't, but we should be grateful that somebody like that actually broke through and was there for so many decades. That's fantastic. It really is. Great stories. People and legends and icons live on through those kinds of stories. That's why I wanted to bring 3 of them today. Remember that. That's what our so-called celebrities and rock stars and movie stars should live up to. Her. That's a true icon. Tell you what else, too. And this is a good example. Don't miss a chance to see your favorite legends. It's like the next time somebody that's a little bit older, maybe somebody who's in a band you've never seen before, but you're like, it's on a Thursday night, I don't want to go. You just never know. Don't turn down a chance to see your favorite legends perform live. She's absolutely great. Legend, icon. Everybody loves Dolly Parton, and for good reason. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully you don't lose any legends tomorrow. Jeez, can't have two in 1 week. Extra fun on Wicked Radio on the live stream and replay on X, YouTube, Facebook, clips from the show on those same channels. Speaking of channels, your favorite audio podcast platforms. Complete episode of the show uploaded just a couple of minutes as soon as we get off the live stream here. Thanks for hanging out. Make it a wicked awesome midweek, wicked awesome Wednesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.